All right, welcome to another episode of the Stickbow Country Podcast. I have a kind of a cool announcement. Well, it's making it sound like it's so important, but well, it's kind of cool. As Ryan knows, we were at the Compton Rendezvous a few weeks back, and I really got to know Shane and Jeff Evans, and boy, guys are just like the coolest. And Jeff reached out to me and wants to sponsor the podcast, and he's with Circle E Archery. So I'm glad to get Jeff on board here. So at Circle E Archery, and excited about that. And of course, I want to thank Mike Roberts, Soft Trail Archery, all the stuff he does for me, and cranking out bows like a crazy person. Uh, the guys over at A Boyer Broadheads, I don't talk enough about some of these guys, and I know it gets repetitive, but those guys just make a stinking quality head. Uh, True North Arrows, I mean, I use his stuff all the time. Of course, I got to tout the Stickbow Country Custom Arrows and Selkirk North Trading Company, Luke Johnson. He's done a lot for me too, and I know it gets repetitive and because you say all this but these guys are really, really great to me and mean the world to me. And yeah, it's just wonderful. But tonight I got Ryan Spelman, who's also a fellow UBI guy. For those that you don't know what that UBI means, the United Bowhunters of Illinois, and gotten to know Ryan a little bit from the banquet this past March. And like I said earlier, the Compton Rendezvous. And yeah, I thought, hey, we got to get you on here. So, Ryan, you are here. You will not be able to go anywhere in public anymore after this airs. No, I do. I appreciate you coming on and maybe just like introduce yourself and we'll get rolling.
Thanks, Mark. No, I'm actually happy we finally got to do this because I remember you asked me at the banquet getting on, and yeah, we did that pheasant hunt together too for
Oh,
Mike's
yeah.
birthday. And that was when we had to go chase birds with bows and not hit anything. So
Right.
yeah, like Mark said, Ryan Spellman. I've been a member of UBI for God, now I think it's going on 5 years. I recently got pulled on to I guess technically a board member. Not officially, but I handle the merchandise and everything for UBI, and then I also kind of act as a Region Two rep, just because we're just such a small group, so we try to promote ourselves as much as possible, just get all the guys that loves shooting stick bows and have a real passion for archery, bow hunting in general, particularly the crowd. But yeah, I mean, it's going pretty well. We got a good group of guys, in line with everything. And I think today I had to get Brad, our new president, kind of up to speed on the Wix account and all that stuff. So yeah, everything's going to start rolling back and getting going again with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Is Brad the Brad Morris the new president?
I think I don't know if I should have said that, but yeah, no, it was yeah, no, Brad's the guy. Tim was the acting president when we were going through a transition phase. But yeah, we swore Brad in the last meeting, and he's real excited about it. He's a good dude,
Yeah,
and
he
I've
is.
gotten to know Brad over the last couple of years, and he's just real down to earth, real easygoing, and he's got the same passion we all got. So
Yeah,
it's a good fit. And then yeah, we're all in the supporting cast of guys we got. It's just it's really cool. So
it is. I'll tell you what, that was my first time really being around you guys. Well, maybe, spending some time at the UBI banquet. And man, I'll tell you what, my wife and I came down Saturday morning and then spent the night and came home Sunday morning. But we both said on the way home, next year we're coming Friday afternoon and making a two-nighter because we just had such a great time. And it was my wife's first time being around all you clowns. And she's like, man, everybody was just so genuine and, just kind and a pleasure to be around. And she's like, man, we got to do this two nights next year. Well, of course, Well, yeah, of course, right? So, and I felt a little bad because I think I talked to Brad and maybe Mike afterwards. I'm like, man, I watch all you guys run around like chickens with your head cut off, and there I am sitting behind my little Stickbow Country podcast table, like I don't know. I felt kind of bad. Not, I mean, not bad to actually do something about it, but I just felt bad that you guys were just going crazy, man.
It was a little bit of a, I mean, that was it was a lot of our maiden voyages of running that banquet. And I think that was what, we probably acted a lot. We probably came off as a lot more, wound up than we probably should have been. But, yeah, cause, Tim's been kind of just, being the mule pulling that thing along I mean, Tim's been doing it for 30 years,
Yeah,
God bless him for just,
right.
sticking through the thick and thin with the organization and just kind of seeing it through and staying with us and then really just getting this thing to where it's at right now. And I mean the membership as a whole just sticking with it and just bearing with us while we kind of iron some stuff out over the last year. But yeah, it's now feel I know it probably wasn't you know a very smart strategic move to book South and Aaron as our keynotes for a lot of our first banquets because we kind of had to be on our game. But yeah, it's kind of how it all went out. And yeah, so
Wow.
next year will be a lot smoother. And, obviously we found some stuff we got to, tweak. And yeah, it's fun. I've been going that. I say it was my I think that was my third banquet, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was, Cooling was the first year I went. And then Eichler was third year.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, well, in fairness to my wife too, she didn't want me running off, leaving her by herself, which I get. I totally understand. But next year, even the longer the hours passed on Saturday, she became more comfortable, because I think I went to a couple of I don't know, it was a UBI meeting, if you will, went to that and a few other things. So she's good with it. But yeah, next year we got Jim Eckhout and Mike Mitten, so that'll be fun.
oh, yeah, and I actually know those like Mike. I met up at Kalamazoo this year, and so I got a dose of some of the stories he's got. And God,
Yeah.
he's gonna be fun to listen to. And then yeah, Jim. I met Jim actually. I knew who Jim was because I used to follow him when he was he got brought on some podcast that I was listening to. Like this was going back 4 or 5 years ago, so I
Yeah.
knew the name. But then I finally got to meet him. I actually bought a pair of first gen ASAT First Light bibs off of my buddy Dan Druria.
Nice.
Who is Dirtbag.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so Dan couldn't make it to Compton the one year, so he's like, it's all good. Jim's got the bibs. You guys can get squared away with that. And I'm like, Jim, he's like, yeah, that counts, Brandon. I'm like, so I got to meet Jim for the first time. But yeah, and then I talked to him at Compton. Yeah, it's gonna be a cool deal. He's
Yeah.
it's funny because just with bear hunting and being so new to bear hunting, it's a lot of knowledge. Just trying to extract it from every avenue
Right?
I can get it from.
Well, you're like a pro podcaster right there. How we're just going to move right into bear hunting, and I'm getting super jacked up because it's only like I don't know 6 weeks before I head up to the old Triple J Lodge or whatever it is, end of August. So maybe it's a little more than that. But
Love that place.
what a place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so talk us through. Was this okay? So you were there in the spring of this year. Was
Yep.
that your first time there?
No, I actually went up
Okay.
last year for the first time. And it was funny last year, sat all week, and I think half the days it was pouring rain. So I mean, I always come with rain gear because it's like bears ain't moving. I don't know. I might get that one weird bear that comes out when it's pouring rain out. So
Right?
I, I don't want to be. I don't want to not be there and catch it on the camera and be like, should have just soaked for a little bit and
Yeah.
could have gotten some action. But yeah, I went up last year for the first time, and it was kind of learn the lay of the land a little bit. And then yeah, going back up this year, gosh, I'm like driving away from that place. You're like, God, I probably just need to, even if I just stay another week next year, just to be up there to fish and hang out with the
Right?
camp with everybody. It's just it's a cool thing, and it's kind of cool. It was actually funny. The first year I went, I was talking to Mike, and like I think it was January. I remember I was sitting on my toolbox in my garage, and then I was talking about it, and I mentioned like I showed it a little interest of yeah, going up to Canada bear hunt would be a lot of fun. I mean, I've had bear tags before for like bow hunting out in New York, but I've never done it like in that type of setting. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, you're up on the list because some guys backed out, so you're up on the list to go to Canada. I'm like, wait, seriously? So he was
Yeah.
like, yeah. So just make sure you have the money and just be ready to go up there. So yeah, no, Mike's been he's been pretty good. Just he kind of brought me in with all that and just been kind of showing me the ropes with that stuff. But yeah, no, Jay and Nikki are doing a good job up there. I'm excited to
Oh
go back.
yeah. Jason, dude, he like never isn't either laughing or smiling. I mean, the guy's
No.
just a great dude to be around. And yeah, he's just it's the whole camp is great. The location is great. The owners are great. There's bears, seems like, good bear population up there. Now, have you gotten a bear out of your 2 years there, or are you still swinging for
So still swinging, but I got 2 assists this year. I could call them.
it? Oh,
So it's funny.
nice.
So it's funny you mentioned the Evans boys because so I got up a day late this year because we were on I had a family vacation. It kind of backed up to that week, so I had to drive. So I drove up by myself that Friday night. Drove straight through the night. I stopped in Eau Claire to sleep for a couple hours. Then I got up into camp that Saturday morning.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so everybody had already chosen their stands. Everybody had their setup already, so it was actually good. Dennis Jackson was hunting up there the year before, and he left his stand up, and he's a lefty. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll just go sit in
Oh,
I guess just go sit in Dennis's stand, and we.
yeah.
So Mike and I go out. We moved it like one tree over just to get a little bit better coverage. But yeah, so then Sunday was sitting, and I had a bear come in, and it was so dry up there that it just sounded like because usually everybody says like bears come in and they're silent, they don't make a noise, they're
Yeah.
real sneaky like that. But yeah, so I just hear this loud, just like stomping, like about 40 yards into like some thick stuff right in front of me. I'm like, all right, it's real methodic. Sounds like it's big, like big stuff. It's probably a moose or something like that. But that'd be
Yeah.
cool. I could see those. So this guy, so it was about a 130-pound bear that came out, poked his head out down the trail, and then he just took his sweet time getting into the bait, kind of circled around, went back up into the woods, circled back. I watched this bear for like over a half hour.
Yeah.
And he finally comes in. He's like 11 yards, like 10, 11 yards broadside,
Ah,
slightly quartering away. So I was actually shooting a bow that Mike, like a prototype bow that Mike actually helped me build. And but we could get to that what the
yeah.
deal with that was later. But so anyway, so I had a setup that was like, oh, this is perfect. I can seal the deal, like finish it, finish it out there. So I come up to full draw, and something snapped behind me, and he picked his front shoulder up that was towards me, and he covered his vital. So I'm sitting there at full draw, and it's a 50. I'm pulling 54 pounds on that bow, so I'm sitting there at full draw. Second goes by, another second. Like I saw him at full draw for like 4 or 5 seconds. Then I touched off just a little too soon because as soon as I saw that arm go back down or that front leg go back down, I touched off, and I just hit the shoulder, just like
Um,
right in the shoulder. So yeah,
yeah.
that was the first bear. And then the whole week went by, and yeah,
What stand were you in for that one? Do you remember?
that was Mayburn one. Like so, I actually brought my
Nice.
canoe up. So I literally parked my canoe in the pond behind the cabin, and I didn't have to drive anywhere to go hunt. I literally just had that canoe there. I jumped in the canoe, went right around the point, and the trail was right there. And it was like
Yeah.
I don't know, 70-yard walk to the stand, and then you're right there. So
That's because if I remember right, well, obviously, if it's Mayburn one, that's the first one on Mayburn.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not the drive even for that is like minutes. It's
yeah.
nothing.
It's actually it takes you longer to drive all the way around to the highway, come down there than just to get it. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're going up there, just bring a small watercraft. And you could just, if you get every one, you could cut your commute time in about,
That's
in
so
half.
cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I pounded that all week, did well fishing, I took Wednesday off. I just needed a little bit of a break. So we just kind of hung out that night, but then comes down to the last night and I don't know, 20 minutes left the shooting light and I'm about ready. I'm like, all right, nothing's happening. It's hot. The smoke started rolling, like it's been
Mm,
hazy all week because of all the wildfires up there. So I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to call it. I had my opportunity. I kind of blew it, but it was a good week.
yeah.
And then I catch movement out of the corner of my eye before, as I'm starting to get down. I'm like, oh shit. And then this other bear, the second bear comes in on a beeline right to the bait, sits down back towards me. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, there's no shot opportunity, but this is kind of cool. I get to watch a bear.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and he was eating that bait so fast that he started, hacking like a dog eating his food too fast. So I was like laughing a little bit and something spooked him up and he got up and then he was broadside at, I think it was like, he was on the other side of the trail. So it might have been 12-ish
Oh,
yards.
okay. So still close.
They're still close. And me being like, oh, cool. I can't not take that shot. So I came back, drew, and the way it looked, I must have collapsed or something because that arrow must have grazed right under his belly hair. And I'm like sticking in the ground and I'm shooting pink fletchings on these arrows. And I'm like, all right, I hit it because he then bolted like another 15 yards and then, went steep quartering away as he's about to, bail
Yeah.
out of there. So I'm like, all right, I already hit him once. Let's get another arrow in him. Well, that shot was like 25 yards and I managed to get it right in behind the shoulder, but it never got into the rib cage. So
Uh,
he was like steep quartering away from me, like turned so he was to my left, quartering away steep, and I snuck it in right behind the shoulder, but it
yeah.
must have been the way the broadhead came in. It never like tucked into the ribs. It just kind of
Yeah.
just skated right through. I mean, we followed the blood trail that night. We had 9 guys with us because we went and tracked it at night.
Oh,
It
I
was the
heard
last night.
that got a little Western.
Oh yeah. Mike could probably give you his point of view from that, but so we take in after this. So shooting it towards where my canoe's at, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to go back to the canoe because he could be sitting right there and I
Yeah.
could bump. So I walk all the way. I text Mike. I walk all the way out. I think I waited like I think I waited like another like 25 minutes or something like that. I walked out to the road and I just started hoofing it back to camp. Like just, unstrung my bow, hoofed it back to
Yeah.
camp all the way around, walked into camp. And as I'm pulling, like walking down the driveway, yeah, there's Mike in his truck with a bunch of guys in the bed of his truck. We had 9 guys. So I'm like, 'cause I thought he was like, I thought something happened where he was like, but I didn't realize he was gathering the whole camp to go look for this bear. So,
Yeah.
so I, threw my bow in the truck, jumped in with them. We drove all the way back over there, picked up blood instantly. He started bleeding immediately. I found my arrow was completely, covered, and it was kind of a weird blood where it looked like some muscle, but then there was some bubbles in it. So it was like we were trying to figure out, all right, where did you hit it? I know where I aimed, but you know how that your mind could play tricks on you. So we followed this bear about a half mile. We tracked that bear up along the lake and everything. And I mean, we were running that blood trail up until like about the last like 150 yards probably. And we bumped this bear actually twice or 3 times we bumped it. And it coughed up some sort of big, like pink mucusy. Like it stumped Mike, it stumped Mick Quinn, who was with us, who's very seasoned bear hunter, and we're just like trying to figure out, all right, he's hurting, he's got an out, he can't have that much more in the tank, and then he ended up getting stuck in between. So we're on the shore of the lake. So the lake is to the left of us, and then he got pinned between the lake and then this like real steep rock face. Like it was about like
Mm,
a 12-foot rock, like cliff face.
yeah.
And so this is like 11:30 at this point when we catch up to him catch up to him now, and so he's just standing there at 10 yards, and I left my bow in the truck because M&R was circling, so we're like trying to do stuff by the book, but
Yeah.
Mike's on all fours, like a yard or two ahead of me. Mick's standing next to me. Mick and I are like spotlighting this thing, and like we see it. We think
Yeah.
Mike sees it, but Mike didn't see it. And then the thing starts coming towards Mike, and we're like, Mike, 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 there.
Yeah.
He's right there. So
Oh, dude. Was the
that's where he's
bear
like, what's up?
was the bear making any noise at all?
Not really.
Okay.
And we actually got to it. Like there was one point in the tracking process where like, what if we just rush this thing? Everybody just like rushes this thing and try and tree it, and
Oh, yeah.
try to get a file. But obviously that's not, you know, can't do that.
Yeah.
It's against the rules. But
Right.
so we backed out. We marked the tree on the shoreline where we had last blood, and he actually tucked into a cave right there that we didn't see at the time. And so Mike and I got in the boat. We went out the next morning, and we're cut the engine, started coasting right in, and all of a sudden he gets up and he's just standing there, and we're all just standing there dumbfounded, like, "Holy cow! How is this thing still?" It's like they're just resilient critters. And then he, took a couple steps forward, and then he bolted up into the woods, and then we didn't see him. So
Ah.
yeah, and yeah,
Ah.
so
So you're feeling down at this point, and anybody, and I mean that, just about anybody that's done any amount of stick bow hunting has had the feeling that you had. And I don't know about you, but when I've been there, it's like, yeah, like there's part of you that wants to be like, okay, I can't do this for a while. I just gotta like, I don't know what, but I don't know what was running through your mind. That's
it was at that point, and then
yeah,
it went away by the end of the next week.
yeah,
So the Evans boys cleaned up my mess.
yeah.
So Shane shot the first bear I shot. So I punched the shoulder, arrow broke off, but there was probably only about four inches of the arrow missing. So it like it broke clean off. And then so Mabrin 3 was actually pretty cold the first couple days we were up there, but then all of a sudden that thing started firing off. Like every day I would go in to bait that, and it was just like it was taking the barrel like away from the sight. Now I had to
Wow.
relocate the barrel. So I'm like, this is awesome. That might be that same bear, but this is good for the guys next week. So I'm just gonna keep keep baiting it, and
Yeah.
let it keep hitting off. So Shane got Mabrin 3, and he shot that bear that I had originally shot in the shoulder like first or second day,
Mm.
because Mike sent me a picture of him holding my broadhead that broke off, and he's like, the Evans boys cleaned up your mess.
No
So,
way.
and Shane won't give me back the broadhead. He's keeping the broadhead. so,
That's hilarious.
so that was good. So at least that's one bear down. So
Hmm.
then the whole week goes by. It was Friday. I was in a meeting out in Ottawa for work, and my phone starts blowing up, and it's Mr. Roberts. So I'm like, dude, text me. I'm in a meeting. Like, just text me.
Yeah.
He's like, what side did you hit the second bear on? I'm like, stop, just stop it. So Jeff had went and hunted that same Mabrin 3 bait and shot the second bear.
I mean,
So
that's
two
cool.
assists.
Wow. Not too many guys can say they got two assists on one trip. That's pretty awesome.
So it's funny when I rolled up to Compton, and everybody's sitting there in camp, and I like, and Shane and Jeff are both sitting there, and they we just we looking at each
Yeah.
other. I just looked to it. I just was like, I just gave one of those, and they just started laughing. I'm like, you guys, love you guys.
Well, you're a good bow hunter, and we all want our game, even ones that yeah, you want the game to be put down, right?
Yeah.
But they obviously must have been okay, huh?
I mean, for that bear to lose the amount of blood it lost, and then go in an entire other week, and then get back on
Yeah.
a bait, it's just that's crazy how resilient the bears in general are.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's like, Mike was explaining to me, it's like, you got to think, like, we have, as humans, we have all these, wants, needs, and everything. And they're only like, they have the will to survive and live. That's all they got. And
yeah.
that's like, if that's all your focus was, like, yeah, you could probably take a couple broadheads and just be just fine. So,
Right. Man, well, let's hear your equipment breakdown on that bear hunt. Your bow and your arrows and your broadhead. I'd like to hear that.
So the first bear was with I had this urge to just build a like an old school style recurve with the real flared out riser as it goes into the fade outs. And so I built a prototype. It was a Jatoba riser, and then I just used some of the leftover stuff Mike had in his shop, and made the form for it and everything. And actually, it was kind of worked out because that's the form he eventually used for his Ascend models that he just rolled out a couple weeks ago. But so
Mhm.
it worked. So we were doing that like in his off time, and he was helping me build that. But yeah, it's like a 70s style recurve that actually ended up, it was kind of funny because it's got an Alcona limb profile on it, and the riser looks like an old widow. So it's like a
Oh,
complete
okay.
I don't know, it's just how it came out. Like we were looking at some older model bows, and I'm just like, I don't know, I was just always attracted to that kind of riser style. So and no, it was a really aggressive shooting bow, but it was funny. So I finished that up, and it came out at 52 at 28. I pulled 29 and a half, so I was shooting like 54ish pounds on it. And it was lazy. So I was like looking at it, and it's just a solid Jatoba riser. I'm like, this thing needs to be dressed up a little bit. So I let Mike just laser engrave it, do whatever you want. Just, I'm giving you free reign, go to it. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, game on. And that's how Joe Callahan's face ended up on it. So we had a picture of
Oh,
Joe Callahan. So we call that the Joe bow now.
I love that. So he engraved Joe's like face on that
Yeah,
bow.
here.
Hey, you gotta show me that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so yeah, this is it right here. And I mean, I put the limitations on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like real beefy, blocky.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he put Joe
Oh, that is a scream, dude.
right there. He put
How
Joe in my
in
sight window.
Oh my word. The Joe Bow. I love that. I'm assuming he knows about that.
Oh yeah, I showed him at Compton.
Yeah, yeah.
I showed him that before we rolled out the Joe Callahan shirt. So yeah, he's very aware that we have that picture of him that we're just putting on everything.
Oh, that is so good, dude.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I was shooting that, and then I forget what we were doing the one day. We might have been at the club setting up 3D, and then here's a little. Mike just nudges me. He's like, "Hey, you know, what'd be kind of cool if you shoot a bear up in Canada with the Jobo and you're using True Norths while you do it." I'm like, "Dude, we got like two
Yeah.
weeks before." Like 2 weeks before we go to camp. What do you like? I got to get arrows, tune them, and so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I was texting. So yeah, I shot True Norths with that one. I got some 55-60s from them, and I was shooting just one some Woodsman's, some glue on Woodsman's. Three Rivers was
Yeah.
having a sale on them, so I just picked up a pack of those, and it shot fine.
Yeah.
I just jumped the a little trigger happy on that. Should have, if I waited just a little more, a second more. But yeah, so I shot the first bear with this one, and then I kind of hunted up. Went back to my sock trip. I have a Dryden 60-inch Dryden XR that I've had for a couple of years now, so I was running with that for the second bear, and I'm just shooting gold tip, the traditional carbons with the dirt naps in the front. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's been kind of the tried and true system
Yeah.
the last couple of years. So
Well, now have you ever taken a black bear with a stick bow?
no, that was actually the
Okay.
first time I had a bear in front of me, because like I said, the first year I went up there and I made a lot of friends that were pine martens and a lot of friends that were red the pine squirrels. So I was covered in those. So if it was marten season, I would have tagged out real quick.
Well, it's funny your story of well, it's not funny, but it's kind of ironic. My first bear hunt was in 2016. That was back during the compound days, and my buddy shot a bear on, I think, Monday. And we were all doing the whole GoPro thing, and man, we took it back to camp, and we're like, man, that looks like a good shot. So the resort owner or the outfitter was an old crusty guy. I think the guy could walk like the entire province of Ontario like in a day. It's just amazing, this guy. So him and my buddy tracked this thing all over Ontario, and he said to my buddy, he goes, "Oh, that bear's fine. It's really it's fine. Okay." And so fast forward to Friday. It's our last day. I'm done. I'm done. I've seen a few bears. I thought they were just too small. I mean, I sounded like I'm Johnny Bear Hunter. This is my first time. Trust me, I'm not that guy. And so I was really kind of salty, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna go out Friday night. We got a long drive home tomorrow. They're like, my two buddies are like, dude, you're gonna sit in that stand tonight. You are sitting in that stand. I'm like, okay. So they were loading up our pickup truck. So they said the outfitter's like, well, just take my truck. So I took his truck, and he had a CB radio. And sure enough, the bear came in. It actually grabbed the, I think I had set the 5 gallon bucket to the side or something. Well, it came into the bait. It picked up the 5 gallon bucket and started walking. And I'm like, it's just going to disappear. And there I'm sitting like, what? It literally only got to the other side of the bait pretty much and stopped right there broadside and came back. And what's cool about those GoPros and well, any video camera is I hit her, it was a sow. She did a head first somersault and she ran maybe, I don't know if she made it 40 yards. And I got to hear the death moan. And
Yeah, that's
there's
cool.
just something about bear hunting. That's my between whitetails and bears. That's where the lane I'm gonna stay in because I was just talking to buddies today. It's exciting. It's leisurely for the most part, right? And it's affordable. It's just to me, it checks all the boxes. I don't know about you. It's just great.
That's kind of, I mean, I grew up in upstate New York through high school, middle school, and high school. My dad's side of the family is originally from out there, so I mean that's kind of the nostalgia I always had. Was I could say I would bear hunting when I would go out there. I usually make a trip out every fall and do a week in the Catskills. I haven't hit the Adirondacks yet, which I probably should at some point. But
Yeah.
my buddy out there, he actually he, my buddy Eric, he kills some big deer up in those mountains, the Cats. But he's one of those guys. He'll get like 9, 10 miles in, and then he's got trail cameras where you probably don't even realize like that's even on the
Yeah.
map.
Wow.
So he's been a wealth of information and wealth of knowledge as far as navigating that terrain. But I think just because yeah, you buy your out of state license, it's affordable. It's like $120 or $130 or something like that. You get a deer, you get a an either sex tag for archery, and then you automatically get a bear tag. So it's like if you run into a bear, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
let's make it that. But you can't bait, you can't run dogs, so that's kind of why it's like they're so willy nilly with the tag allocation.
Yeah.
There's actually some units out there now too. I saw when New Jersey put off their season. It was a couple of years ago, and some of the bordering units I think actually allocate 2 tags now for per hunter.
Oh,
So that's kind of cool. But yeah, no,
yeah.
bear hunting's always been like, it was even funny because even with like any raffles like through Rocky Mountain Elk, Compton, or anything, I would, and like you'd have your options. Like Rocky Mountain Elk, especially, it's like you can go do a New Mexico elk hunt or something like that, or you can go up to Alaska and hunt black bears. I always put in for the black bears. I don't know why. I just always put in
Yeah.
for the black bear hunts because I mean, especially now getting to watch one for over a half hour up in Canada this past spring. It's like I thought I was watching. It's like the charisma with them and just like how they move around, how they like just navigate the bait sites and everything. And
Yeah.
they're just cool to watch. They got a lot of personality, and it's real intimate. It's a lot more intimate, I feel like, than deer hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just my opinion. I mean, but
So
yeah,
now
they're just.
are you are you gonna go next spring?
Oh yeah,
Okay, good. So I'll be there when you shoot your first bear, so that'll be awesome.
I'm
Um,
hoping. Yeah, redemption trip for sure.
yeah, no, I would love to see you get that tag filled and that would be really, really cool. Well, let's you were or I don't know, was it Mike? Yeah, I think it was Mike on Monday said that you won the Compton
Yeah.
Dream Raffle. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Ryan won it? He goes, yeah, dude, he won it. I'm like, no way.
That's what I said too when I found out. I thought it was people pulling my leg.
Yeah.
So Gene Hopkins called Mike, I think. So we, that day, you remember at Compton, it was stupid hot out, just
Uh,
stupid. Humidity was bad. The flaps of the tents are all like pinned down. There's no airflow. We're like all huddled around our fans.
hmm
And it was funny. Luke Becker, myself, we're just like, dude, why don't we just go like sit in the river after this? Let's just go cool off in the river. And
Yeah.
I told Mike, and he's like, yeah, I'm game for that. So we went and sat in the river after we shut her down. So we're just like at the point where, all right, let's go get something to eat. We're going to go somewhere for dinner tonight, get in some air conditioning, just stay cool until
Yeah.
the sun goes down, the temp drops a little bit. So we're driving to dinner, and I'm with we took Josh's truck, so Josh was driving, then Mike and Paul were in the back seat, and then all of a sudden Mike got a phone call, and it's Gene. He's like, "Dude, tell Ryan to answer your phone. He won the dream hunt." And like Mike's like, "Wait, what?" Because we were just talking about it too. It's like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool?" And then Dennis Jackson was trying to call me. Burkhart was trying to call me. Like it seems like my phone just like everybody tried to call me all at once, and then I had to I was trying to sort through the who was calling me. I'm like, all right, well, this number's got to be Burkhart because I don't have that number. And
Yeah.
so I called Burkhart back, and that's when it was over the loudspeaker. And yeah, he's like, you won the dream hunt. I'm like, you serious? Never win anything. This is awesome.
Oh, that's so when is that hunt? Is that spring of 2026?
No, it's we just moved the dates up. It's August 6th through the 12th of next year. So it's a fall hunt, I guess. I know
Okay.
Alaska's, seasons are a little bit different from what we're used to down here, but yeah. Yeah.
And you got like $1 million worth of gear and that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, another sock trail bow, which I
Right?
definitely need, right? I was looking at it, I was like, well, I guess I'm just not going to pay you for one of my orders, I guess. I'm already on the list. I think I'm on the list two or three times. We can't keep track of just keep putting
Yeah.
ourselves on the list.
Oh, well, that is exciting. So you'll be with like other Compton board members and stuff?
Yeah. I got that. It's
Yeah.
Burkhart, Gene. Yeah, there's seven. I think there's eight of us total, but yeah, it's most of the Compton board member folks. Yeah, it's that Homer Charters in Alaska, and
Oh, yeah.
so that I mean, and that's cool too because I mean, was telling I was talking to Dirtbag again, like just because he wasn't there at Compton. I was like, hey, dude, did you hear that I was just checking up just because I know he's dealing with some stuff right now at home, but yeah, he's just like, dude, you serious? That's awesome. All right, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, you might shoot a bear, just try to shoot the biggest one you can, because odds are it's gonna, you might not be able to take the meat home because it might have worms. They've been eating the fish. It tastes like fish, and I'm just like, and he's just like, oh, and the halibut too. I swear, dude, some of those halibut are so big you got to dispatch them with the 12 gauge. I'm like, wait, what? So you're getting a halibut on boat side, and you're just gonna bust out some buckshot and just take the
Oh
thing home.
man,
It's like God.
that is crazy, dude.
Yeah, Bob Lenahan, Mike Gard, Matt Morris, Brandon Lilly, and Ron Rohrbach. Sorry if
Man.
I pronounce any of those names wrong, but yeah. And then yeah, Burkhart, who I first met up at Kalamazoo, and then Gene. I don't know if I've ever met Gene, but I know no, and it's you can't go wrong with anybody you put in that list. They're all good
No.
dudes. It's
I
gonna be a
think
good.
Gene, I met him at Compton for the first time and I told him, I said, I've never shot a bear takedown and I've always wanted to own a bear takedown. He goes, follow me. Dude, we walked a couple hundred yards up to his pickup truck. He reaches in, he grabs a sock, takes out this recurve, strings it up, gives me 6 arrows, and says, "Here, go shoot it." I'm like, "Wow, this is really cool."
That's
And
the community.
ah,
It's always like that.
he was awesome. And then really, really actually liked shooting it. I really liked the grip a lot on it too. And yeah, that was cool. He's just seems to be a really, really, really good dude. And you're gonna have, well, they're all good dudes. You're gonna have an absolute blast. That is so cool, man.
Yeah, it'll be a 'cause I'm used to the crew we got, so it'll be kind of cool to meet some new guys. And I mean,
Yeah,
I'll probably run into them, and I'll try to make it a point at some of the events through from between here now and then to
yeah,
at least meet them face to face. So if it's not meeting everybody for the first time when you're rolling up to the docks, like, hey
yeah. That'd be
guys,
kind of
I'm here.
nice. Yeah. Hey, you got that tree stand over your shoulder there. I'm gonna bring the tree stands up. What is your What's your go-to, Ryan, if you're gonna go whitetail hunting and you're gonna, a pretty mobile setup? What do you like to use?
Mobile.
Yeah.
I I I mean, a lot of times when I hunt public around here, I mean, just some of the spots I've got, I've just learned to kind of pattern not so much the deer, but just the other hunters. So I actually a lot of the public stuff around here, I just stay on the ground. I don't know. It's just how because I don't know if it's just a laziness or I don't want to lug a tree stand in with me, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
I
get
know
it.
the one on the left there. It's one of those hawk, the XL hawk. I don't know, but it's the kickback where it's got like the adjustable seat with the back to it, and they're comfy as can be.
Yeah.
I was hunting at down in St. Anne with Mike last year, and I sat in the one he had set up there. I think it was the first time, or it might have been the first or second time I went down there. But yeah, and I was sitting there, and I felt bad because it's like I'm like grateful he brought me down there, and then he's like I like he's stand like we sat in the same tree. He has two stands because he usually hunts down there with Rue, and so they
Yeah.
got like stand setups. But he's like standing up and down, and I'm like, dude, do you want to switch? Like if your back's bothering you, like you could sit in this thing. And he's like, no, it's
Yeah.
fine, it's fine, it's fine. And I'm like, dude, whatever. All right. I try to be nice. I'll switch with you if you want me to.
Yeah. Huh. Now what's that other one there?
Oh, it's a Menard special.
That's your
It's a
what?
it's a Menard special that I actually had to completely modify. I use that. That's a climbing stand on the right there. I
Okay.
had to. I was hunting with my buddy at Silver Springs. This was back in when I first moved out to Illinois. I think it was what 20 had to have been like 2018 or 2019. And I'm sitting there in the tree, and then all of a sudden I just start feeling myself like going forward, and the strap started like just like the cable started pulling out of all the rubber grips, and
Uh,
I'm like, and I'm 15 feet up in the tree, and I'm just like, well, I guess I got to get down now. So
yeah.
it was actually funny that tree I set up in that day. That must have just been like an eye catching spot because I was when I was climbing up, it's 2 hours before shooting light. We got in there super early. As I was climbing down, I'm like, oh, this actually isn't too bad. It seems like someone had a stand in here at one point, and they had the permanent, screw in. They made like like the guy must have been a welder or something because he had a bunch of angle iron steps up the tree. So I kind of actually just used those to get down, which was kind of nice. So I
Yeah.
lucky in that aspect. But yeah, so I looked at that. I'm like, all right, well, this thing's not going to cut it. So I ordered new straps and kind of rigged it up a little bit so it's a little bit more beefier. But yeah, now it's kind of just sitting down here, just
Yeah.
collecting dust a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever hunted out of either the brand XOP or Elevate?
No, no.
I uh I talked to the Elevate is out of Kansas. It's a couple brothers, and I've talked to the one guy twice now. I'm going to have him on the podcast just for something different. They came out with this company. They started it, and I thought I'd be kind of fun to get a tree stand guy. And I guess the point in bringing it up is these stands nowadays, Ryan, are so lightweight. Uh, Elevate's got one that's like 5.8 pounds. I know XOP just came out with two or three new models. They're right at that high fives. I mean, it's insane, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, you're young and look, you're like a bull, so you don't probably care about weight. But when you get to be old and flabby like me, lightweight is nice.
Oh, I remember. I forget who the guys were up at Kalamazoo. They had those. they're like the instant setup. They were almost like tower stands, honestly. Like a ladder. No, it was a ladder stand type of deal. I can't remember who the. He was a nice guy. I feel
Yeah,
bad that I can't remember what his name was, but I remember I was looking at his stuff and I'm like, it was cool because he came from a welding background too, so it was kind of like we got to geek out about
yeah,
welding.
yeah. Ah, so
Yeah,
you're not a saddle guy though, huh? I thought you being a young whippersnapper would be in that camp.
I honestly, I was in. I actually just had this conversation with talk about Mike again, but I was just having this conversation with him the other day. He's like, "Hey, do you hunt out of a saddle at all?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because if you ever have to tie rebar, when I was with the ironworkers, you're up on the wall at rebar and you have the D loop belt on. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know."
Yeah,
And just I have to. I'm particular with how I want to shoot. I just like I don't want to add any more
me too.
elements to the mix just because I'm not going to be able to.
No. No,
So
I'm with you. I don't want to start that game. I'm gonna get me a couple. Well, I told Mike, I said, "Oh, how many stands do I need for bear camp?" He goes, I said, "Just bring one good setup and that'll be fine." I guess he said too, there's other stands up there and blah blah blah. But I wanted to make sure if I needed two, I'd get two, and I probably will get two eventually just to have. I actually got some cool sticks from Joe Callahan at Compton. We had talked months previously. He had some brand new XOP sticks,
you
and
know,
why were
that's
they
all.
yours?
Yeah, Joe probably isn't using them too much anymore, huh?
No, he was great. He got me a real good deal for, I think it's a total of four of the short ones and four of the three-step ones. And no, he gave me a really good price. And so I'm locked in with and because I've never done the sticks. I've always been the uh,
The screw ins.
yeah. And I'm like,
Really?
no, I'm done with that. You do the sticks, right?
I did the sticks up until I saw this video of a guy who didn't have one into a solid piece of the tree in the trunk, and yeah, and he got gashed open by one of those things, and I just kind of like I have a bunch of them upstairs, but I kind of use them. Put some electrical tape on it and just use them as bow hangers now. But yeah, I saw this guy the photo of he got gashed open really good by one of those things. It like pulled
Ooh.
out and it like kicked out, and then like the threaded portion was sticking out, and he just ran right
Oh,
through it. It just it gashed him good, and he had to tourniquet and all that stuff. So yeah, it was like kind of like I don't know if I want to use sticks anymore. So
yeah. No, I'm not doing that anymore. And so, all right, well let's go into let's see. We're in can't believe we're in July 10 already. What's your plans for this fall? I mean, I know you live in Illinois,
yep,
but you're smart enough to hunt in my state of Indiana, not too far east of me. So that's and I think I talked to you this at Compton, but is that your plans, chase whitetails this fall?
yeah. I know I'll do. So it's nice because where our shop is at in Valpo, we my family we bought a little 10-acre parcel up there in Chesterton, and it's in the reduction zone, so you can start hunting September 15th. So it's kind of nice because I literally will finish up the trad shoot at the club, and then like the next weekend, like I'm bailing out and I'm hunting like the afternoon that Sunday because we have our club shoot the following weekend. But I usually bail out and I'll hunt that opening day on the afternoon. But I put cameras out because it's a small property. It's hunts as a cut through property. It's real long and narrow, but
Mm.
I'll put cameras out and try to pattern, see what they're doing, and then try to like pick and choose. But it's nice because if something's happening in the afternoon, then finish up at work and go sit in the stand for a couple hours. So it's been pretty convenient in that aspect. And then I'll
Yeah.
probably hunt a little bit over here in Illinois. I want to start getting more acquainted with some of the public areas around here, like Medewin and Des Plaines. And
Mm.
I hunted Shabanaw State Park primarily for a good, 4 years. I didn't hunt it last year. They were going through some where they were selling the state was selling it back to the native reservation up there. So I don't know exactly. I haven't really checked in on it. I don't know what's going on with that. But
Yeah.
and then yeah, and then I'm on the fence of doing Catskill run this year in the fall. I just got to figure out when, and then we're actually doing we're putting together some UBI hunts, so details to come out on those soon because I know we're got to do a little scouting and seeing, how it's going to lay out and how many people
Are
we
you
can get.
thinking the UBI hunts for next year or for this year?
Oh, for this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're trying. I know they got the one down at Shelbyville. They usually do. It's near Shelbyville. Um, so I don't know. I might hit that one up at if schedule allows me. But I know the one going on up in Region One out by Oregon. I know that one I'm definitely going to because that's I think we're canoeing in and camping on one island, hunting another island on. I think it's the Rock River that goes through there. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah, no, that's Luke. That's Luke's deal. So we'll
Yeah.
see what he comes back to us with. I'm sure we'll find out a little bit at the next UBI board meeting. But
Yeah. Well, so next year you'll be doing Triple J Lodge and then you'll be doing Alaska. How cool is it to say that? And oh, dude, I was just texting with kind of the three guys I've done some hunting with. They're all I can't get one of them to pick up a stick bow yet. I just can't. And the one guy's retired and he's my age and he won't pick up a stick bow. He's like, "Oh, I don't have time." I'm like, "I don't want to hear that." But anyhow, it's like,
always the excuse.
right? And then he'll do well, I want to hit what I, shoot at. And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." But they want to do, or we're going to probably do a bear hunt next fall up in Ontario, a place that we went to in 16. So it's going to be a heck of a bear hunting season next year. Um, and of course, I was going to say, what new bows do you got? But you're getting a new sock trail every, two a year probably from Mike, poor guy.
And sometimes if I don't want to wait, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna come over on like a Saturday or something. I'll be like, hey, can I build myself one of these? He's like, oh, I gotta deal with you again. And
Well,
then it's
I got that high line from Compton from him, and man, dude, I'm thinking, I'm on the fence between the high line and the come on, um,
Kinsman.
yeah, I'm on the fence. I mean, one day I'm shooting the Kinsman real well, and then 3 days later I'm not, and then I'm shooting the high line better. Right now, if I had to pick, I would probably do the high line just because it's a little longer and it's more forgiving for me. Because there's some nights I come out here, I couldn't hit a giraffe, dude. It's bad. It's so bad.
No, I got a Highline. I got Dryden and a Highline, or sorry, the Dryden XR. But no, the Highline I got actually. It's funny. Mike had missed weight like way high on that. It was like came out like 68 pounds or something like that. But it was a lefty. Solid G10 riser with Bacote veneers. Really just simple, but it caught my eye and I saw it. And a couple times over there, I was just like looking at this thing in the shop. And eventually I was over there the one day and I was like, dude, what's going on with this one in the corner over here? He's like, oh, it's 68 pounds. I'm like, can you get it down to like 56? And he's like, I can see what I can do. So it's funny when I look at other people's high lines and they have like the proper, limb width and everything. I'm like looking at mine, I'm like, dude, they're like spaghetti like strings. It's like so narrow. And it's like, he gave it to me the one morning we had a shoot and he brought it to the club and it was actually the trad shoot and last year. And he hands me, he's like, shoot it, see if you want it. If not, I won't blame you, but I did the best I could. And I'm like, all right. And I shot that thing all day and I just handed him the money and I was like,
Yeah.
thanks, buddy.
Wow, nice. So is that what, a 62 or?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
62, 56 at 28. So it's pulling like 58-ish for me, but it thumps. I have
Yeah.
I have a really heavy arrow setup with that. I actually just bought some 60-65s from Joe at Compton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they hum out of that thing.
Yeah.
The thing's it thumps.
Oh, that's so what oh yeah, you said you use Woodsman's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the true. I don't know. It's funny how before this year I had no wood arrows, and I mean Joe Callahan once, and I'm just and yeah. Every
Well,
time I see Joe, I'm like, "What do you got, dude? I gotta get a set from you. I got."
no, you know what? Hey, you get the right spine arrow, wood arrows with the right amount up front, dude. They shoot like darts. You've seen
Oh
it,
yeah,
right? And um, yeah, no, it's fun. I love shooting woods. I think. Well, I just love the creativity. Like I think it was the set I built for the UBI banquet. I kicked myself because I never took a picture of them, but they were stained black, white crown dip with two yellow, white, and white, one white feather, and then yellow and black cresting, dude. They were like dynamite. And I wanted to build another set, but I wanted to see exactly what they were. I'm 90% sure what they were, but um, yeah, that's yellow is kind of my color that I like to hunt, white and yellow. Because when you're bear hunting, those whites and they you can
pop.
really see it, But
It's funny. We shot the max shoot that Chicago Bowhunters had what 2 weekends ago, and I shot a bow that was gifted to me, which was it's a older 50 style recurve, which was 60 pounds, like dead at 60. It was made by actually one of the guys that kind of kept Joliet Archery Club going, Bruce Chandler,
oh, nice.
and he doesn't build bows anymore. He's local up here, and yeah, so I got that just gifted to me at Compton, and the conditions where I cannot sell it and I cannot chop it up to make knife handles. I have to just leave it as it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got that, and I shot those new True Norths that I got from Joe at Compton. I already qualified for the max, so I'm like, well, I'll just shoot this up, see what happens. I actually shot my best mac round.
Really?
Yeah, just like I went, and then I went and I tagged along with Mike that day to go pick up wood for my next Joe bow, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm not shooting socks anymore. I'm going to shoot this Bruce Chandler bow because I did a lot better with that than your stuff. So he was like, you know what? Do whatever you want, dude. I don't care. I always got to rib him a little bit,
Oh
but
yeah, you gotta do that. Well, and speaking of Sock Trail Archery, his target bow, the Ascend, dude, it's I forget. I think he said the first morning it went live where they were, taking orders. I want to say he
in
said by like
20,000
nine, he
hits.
had like 7 orders in the first morning. Like
Yep.
so,
Yeah. When I talked to him, what, Saturday? He had like a dozen and a half orders already. And I
yeah.
mean, it's funny because like I started doing the target competition stuff last winter with Josh Bodencheck, my buddy
Mhm.
over here, and he got me into the target stuff because I mean I was involved with Joliet Archery Club for as long as I've been involved with UBI, and
Yeah.
getting more into that stuff, and it actually helped my shooting a lot this winter, and it's a good transition for people wanting to shoot traditional gear, like, hey, come shoot 3D, come shoot,
Yeah.
come just shoot it, and and then it's cool because then it like teaches you how to properly tune your stuff. If you have to get that exact point on it, 20 yards for your indoor, 300 rounds and stuff, it's cool. And
Huh.
yeah, no, so I got to kind of when he was working with Josh on the target bow design, and then he sent it to I keep forgetting this gentleman's name, and I probably shouldn't because he's a much bigger deal than I am, but who he sent it, he lives out in Ohio, I think. But they were developing this target bow, so I kind of got to see that from the last push to get it for it to come to fruition. But yeah, he finished a lefty too this past week, and he just sends me a picture, and I'm just like, dude, come on, how much you want for it? And he's like, I'm not selling it to you, it's going to ETAR. And I'm just like, yeah, it'll still go to ETAR if I buy it. What do you want from me? He's like, you're not buying it, I'm not letting you buy it. Just like, thanks,
Oh,
dude.
that's so good. That's so good. Uh,
Yeah, it's a whole nother level to the whole archery game, that the competitive stuff, and I'm excited to do it again this year. I really am. It's fun.
what,
It's different.
yeah,
Just it's
what
another
made him
excuse
do
to
that?
grow. Who? Mike?
Yeah, what made him get into that? Just thought it was something he could tap into?
I think enough people just bugged him enough, so I think he was just trying to, be like, all right, I'll make a target bow. I mean, just knowing his personality, that's what I like to think. But I think he said it was in the description with his the post that launched it off. He was saying it was in the works for 2 years, and
Wow.
it is. It's just a whole nother. you know, clientele base that,
Yeah.
you just don't reach with just strictly making hunting bows. And it's actually funny. I think a guy ordered a 55-pound, 70-inch Ascend from him that was like, and the guy wants to use it to hunt. He just wants it as a hunting bow. Some of those guys just want a long hunting bow.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, that's going to be sweet. I'm excited to see what you do
Whoa.
with that, dude.
That's so cool. Man. Well, I'm happy for him that it's taken off and yeah, I mean, that guy I think could work 24 hours a day and still not catch up. So, well, that speaks of him, it speaks of his bows.
It's a good problem to have. And I tell him that all the time. It's a good problem to have, dude.
Yeah, yeah, you could be like waiting for an order to come in and you don't want that either, but no, that's really cool. Now, are you like do you get into any other bows or are you like do you collect any old Black Widows or any Ben Pearsons or any of that kind of stuff?
I've tried to see what kind of deals you could find online, but it seems like, I mean, I think it was the Pearson bows. I mean, they just went up in price for a brand new one, so everybody raised their used bow price. I'm like, and what, like they're trying to sell a bow for $1,000 a used bow, and I'm just like, I can't justify it.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
because if I want to, I could just get back on the list with Mike, and I can get
Yeah.
exactly what I want. But no, I got a when I first got into hunting, I actually went trad first because it was the cheapest option to get into it. I only started hunting when I was 21, so I've only been hunting for almost this is the 10th year. Um,
Okay.
I went to college to play football, and my falls were always just football, football, football. So it was
Yeah.
always hunting season took the back seat, but I shot bows in like summer camp growing up, so I was always like really wanting to get into bow hunting. So it kind of helped persuade me to be like, you know what, I'm kind of done with football. I want to start enjoying my falls and don't want to be completely, locked in from the months of August to December. And
Yeah.
so I got a Samick Sage takedown kit from Cabela's with some of my stipend scholarship money because it was the cheapest. I think there was like $130 for the bow, strainer, and I think you were having a promo on like half dozen aluminum shafted arrows. So I just kind of went that route. No trad vanes on it, just shot the arrows that were meant for a compound bow, but I didn't know any difference. So I was just like,
No.
I'll just tune these. I just figured it out. And then I went to a compound for a little bit. I got Matthews off of eBay for like $300 and had that set up. I shot that for a couple of years and went back to I started like, you know what? I dropped it one day and the pins got all messed up. So then I was like, all right, if this happens in the woods, because we all drop our bows out of our stands. It's like, at least I know if I miss something, it's because of my aim. It's not
Yeah.
because of, the equipment I'm using. So I went back to the trad bows and I picked up a 60-pound at 29 and a half Martin Hatfield takedown.
Mm.
So I was shooting that for a little bit, and yeah, that kind of got the nickname of the Viking bow when I first, met the guys and got it. They're like, "Why are you shooting this Viking bow? It's 60 pounds, dude. You're gonna have a shoulder replacement surgery by the time you're 30." And I'm like, so I bumped down. I found another used Bear Super Kodiak, which was a 64-inch recurve that was 55. And that was a little easier to shoot, and but still, it was a it was a blemished bow, so I got it relatively cheap, and then so I was kind of switching between the two, and then the 2021 Compton, I ended up I was looking through the catalog, and because nobody in my family hunts, so I was just kind of navigating this myself. We just moved out to Illinois for work, and I didn't really know anybody, and I was looking through the Compton newsletter, and I was like, oh, Sock Trail Archery. They're right here in New Lenox. I live in Lockport. Maybe I'll, stop by their booth at Compton. I went up by myself, went into the Sock Trail booth, and then the rest was kind of history.
No way. Oh
He's like, wait,
yeah.
you're from Lockport? And then Tim Nuss's, alarm started going off his head. Oh, another Illinois, trad shooter. He's like,
Yeah.
so we got to get you in with UBI. Oh, by the way, you're close. You can come help me at the archery club. And yeah, so Mike kind of
Oh,
just, completely embraced me. And I, met Jason and Brad and Josh and all the guys just and it's just been it's a tightly knit group, and we definitely enjoy each other's company. It's just a cool thing we get to do together. So
Yeah, well, at Compton, I told my wife I haven't seen 1 a.m. in probably realistically like 35 years.
yeah, we
Or
could change
some.
that real quick.
Well, it was funny. Well, so we go to bed at 1 a.m. I don't know. Mike said, "Oh, we'll find a place." So I actually got in my truck. I thought, "Oh, this," because I have a single cab pickup. I don't even have an extra cab. So I'm like, "This is gonna be
Jeez.
rough." So kind of get sort of settled, get my pillow behind me. All of a sudden, this guy starts pounding on my window, driver's side. Well, it's Mike. He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, I'm gonna go to sleep. He goes, "We got a place for you in here." I'm like, all right, all right. So, so we go in the camper. I think it was
Chateau Lamenki.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Brian, right?
Yep.
And so just collapse on this roll away couch. And of course it's got the metal rod in the middle of your back for the entire night. So that's always a pleasure. But I don't know, sometime during the night, Mike got hot, so he opened the door and then he opened the fan up in the ceiling. And then he finally gets up to and leaves the camper. I said, "Oh, it must be, I'm thinking in my mind it's like 8 o'clock." I look at my phone, it says 6:45. And I'm like, no, I don't want to get up now. I just got to bed, and I laid there for like 10, 15 minutes and just said, "Oh, I ain't going back to sleep." So
No, he's a vampire. He's an absolute
yeah.
vampire. That dude does not sleep. You'll get like a random like he'll get sent a random message at like it's like pushing midnight on like a Tuesday. And he was in the shop at 5 a.m. the previous day and he's about to be there. And I'm like, dude, go to bed. And he's like, I don't sleep.
Okay. Well, now that I know that.
Yeah, that was a shock in Canada the first year too. Because I mean, well, no, I guess it wasn't total shock. I think it was the first UBI banquet I went down. I stayed with him and Dirtbag in their room, and yeah, like we got in, same thing. Like we were burning it till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, all right, 7, 8, like you, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nope, we're gonna get up at 5, go hit breakfast, and then oh yeah, like creatures, total creatures, Mark.
Oh,
It's just like I don't know. Sometimes at some point in my life, maybe I'll get that. It'll just click with me where I can do that on the regular. But I just yeah, it floors me. But you're just kind of like, well, I don't want to be the only guy asleep because I don't want to miss anything. And then you
right.
get yeah. Every time I come back from a shoot, Canada, event, anything, I get home and give me within an hour, I'm asleep on the couch and I'm like I'm out. I'm out for like until like 10 o'clock that night, and then I crawl into bed, and then I'm out for another you know 8 hours till 6 the
Yeah.
next morning. So
Well, some guys are just that way, and you will find as you get older. I mean, I'm 57. You do find it where, yeah, I mean, I used to be able to sleep till 8 o'clock, no problem on a Saturday at all. And now I'll wake up I'll wake up 6:30, 7. I'll just kind of lay around for a bit. But no, that was an eye opener, man. That was crazy. Well, hey, dude, this was fun, man. I'm glad you were able to come on here. We could kind of catch up and hear the bear story. And dude, I'm looking forward to I know you shouldn't be looking forward to everything down the road, but I was telling Mike that too. I can't wait for spring bear. I've never done a spring bear hunt, so I'm looking forward to that and being up there with you and whoever
what's
else
gonna
is up there next year, dude. It's gonna be a heck of a good time. And yeah, hopefully Brad will be up there again and yeah, and Sugar Bear and
old sugar bear. Yeah, I felt bad. I kind of messed him up a little bit this past spring. We went to go help Paul get his stand out like last day, and Tim rode with me, and I brought my work truck because I wasn't trusting my personal truck, and it's a diesel. My work
mm,
truck is, and it's got a very stiff suspension system in it for towing stuff. And we are
oh,
going down those roads in that truck. So I almost sent Tim to the roof, and just like, so then we get out, get Paul's stuff out, and then he comes up to me, he's like, yeah. Don't like you didn't do anything wrong, but I think I'm gonna ride back with Paul. I'm like, Tim, I get it. That was brutal, dude. I get it. You don't have to apologize. I get it. This is ridiculous because I feel it. I know you definitely feel it. So,
Yeah,
but
he's a good dude, man. But
yeah,
well,
it'll be a
hey,
fun time this year.
keep me when before I let you go, what's the when is your what is it the trad shoot at Joliet? Is that September?
Yeah, first weekend of September. It's actually the weekend after the Whiskey City shoot. So it's really
Okay.
easy to remember. So yeah, we'll be down at Wisconsin and the boys on Whiskey City, and then yeah, it's September. I don't know the exact date, but it's that first weekend of September, and we'll
Okay.
post up as it gets closer in and everything too, because I know that's. It was funny. We had our meeting and our club meeting on Tuesday, and they're like, "How many people you expect at the trad shoot?" Like 30, 40 people. I'm like, "No, we'll probably have over like 100 people this year."
Yeah, I'd like to come. Yeah.
Yeah, we usually do 60 stakes, over 100 targets. We'll have some competitions going. We do the hunt around course. We'll probably do one regular shoot course with IBO, all that stuff. I mean, we don't really keep score, but if you want to keep score, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna do the hunt around stuff, and then we're toying with the idea of doing some other stuff like like 100-yard challenge or stuff like that. I know Tim will bring his golf ball arrows probably, so we'll be playing some archery golf
Oh
and
yeah. I seen the video of that. That's hilarious.
yeah. So you don't think you're gonna shoot over the tire until you do, and then you got to go find one of Tim's golf ball arrows, and he makes you
Oh,
find it.
that's so good. Man,
Yeah.
that's good. All right, dude. It was a pleasure and good talking to you and keep me posted on your adventures this fall. Well, dude, seriously, you go right within probably when you go down 90, 80, 94 right here to Valpo and Chesterton, I'm exit whatever, 3 Highland. If you ever are bringing a buck back from Chesterton, dude,
I'll stop
shoot me a
by.
text. I'll put a pot of coffee on and you could pull up and I want to see your deer and I don't care if it's a doe. I don't just come on by. I'm literally like probably a mile off the expressway. So
Oh, really? Yeah,
yeah.
I knew you were over there. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I wonder if it would make sense just to go over to Mark's house tonight. But I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to show up and the shop closed.
No, dude,
Fab shop's
anytime.
not closed.
Shoot me a text. Shoot me a text. If I'm around, I'd be glad to have you stop in and for whatever reason, just to visit or use the bathroom or coffee, whatever. So that'd be good. All right, dude. Thanks again for coming on. And well, let's see, when will I see you next? Well, I'm gonna do the Whiskey City. I think I'm gonna go down Friday, I think.
Yeah. Then
So
yeah, because you're not going to Etar, right?
no.
Yeah.
And so I'll do
That's
that.
Whiskey
So
City.
I would love to do ETAR and I will do it one of these days, but yeah, so I'll see you at the classic, man.
Awesome. No, I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. All right. See you later, man.
Yeah.